this is late your time. So thank you so much for doing this with us. We're so excited.
Sure,
Yeah. Did you have a
sure.
nice day?
Yeah, it was a good day. I went thrifting. It's like gold mine, right? You just go out there and you just search, you search, you search, and then you find something that you didn't expect.
I love a good thrifting. Alicia likes to call it my knickknacks. Um, Big fan, Marco. Not gonna lie, big fan.
A lot of knickknacks.
A lot of knickknacks. I'm so excited that you agreed to do this. We do have quite
Really
often folks on to our podcast, and we'll get to like what you do and all that jazz. But I work in medical, and Alicia works in hair. And do you like that? I was like, works in hair.
Yeah, I'm a hair expert.
Just a hair expert overall. And so during the pandemic, specifically for me, I never had a break. I mean, it was like nonstop, go, go, go. It was almost worse, obviously, and a lot of folks were at home. And so folks would be telling me, I'm like, how was your day today? And they'd be like, oh man, I was on TikTok for like 8.5 hours today.
Yeah.
Binged on some Cheetos. That's where we were coming in at. So for me, I really didn't get into TikTok that way. And so once COVID, like we hit the middle ground where we were like, okay, we know a vaccine's going to be coming in the next 6 months. We're starting to gain traction. I was like, oh, mama got time. Mama is about to see what all this TikToking is all about, honey. And when I tell you, it blew my mind. I think I made one TikTok.
Me and my husband broke TikTok off, and we did do a dance, and it did do very well.
Good.
I couldn't, it's kind of funny. I'm sure that you can, you were probably just like with the rest of us, right? Like kind of trying it out, seeing how fun it was. And then I feel like TikTok did a weird thing where it just like picked somebody and it just kind of like exploded. We had a lot of fun with it, but it's a lot of time to put into it, right?
It's a lot of time, right?
I started in around August or July of 2019.
Oh wow!
And
So that early.
I joined it just really because my kids were on it, and it was a time suck, and I wanted to see what they were doing. So I saw it, and I fell in love with it. And I could talk on and on about why, but I just fell in love with it. And then I got the courage, and I don't know how, to do one TikTok, and it went viral. And so I got lucky with the very first TikTok, it went viral, and I got nervous because, like, when you put yourself out there and you see, I think that first one, it was viral in terms of it got like 70,000 views or something.
So just like a measly 70,000. Gotcha. Just a measly 70,000.
Well, no. In retrospect, I thought it was like the biggest thing ever, and I was like nervous that people were going to see me from work and everything. Like I was, but then I started doing a bit more. Then people started saying I look like Master Roshi from Dragon Ball, which is a whole anime.
You should know that I'm a huge nerd, and I love anime. So I'm already on board. And I was going to ask you that later. So I'm so glad that you brought it up because I was like, I hope he doesn't take offense, and also I hope he knows who that is.
Well, I didn't until.
Oh, you didn't.
And so they were telling me about it, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" I researched him, and I love the character, but I kind of don't like some aspects of the character, which you probably know.
Right.
He's pervy. He's pervy as hell.
He's pretty problematic.
Yeah. To the point where this was like originally shot back in the original Dragon Ball was shot back in the 80s.
Right.
And especially in Japan, it wasn't such a big deal. But if you look at it now with the 2021 lens, it's bad.
It ain't great, Marco. It's not great.
I know, but I went back. So I adapted this character. I do a lot of cosplay with it, and I went back and I saw the Dragon Ball series back from the 80s. So just to understand a lot better, and it was hilarious. So I started doing that. I started realizing that okay, they like my dancing, so I continue with dancing. But it is a time suck, like you were saying. It is difficult to come up with the ideas.
Yeah.
Or just like when you guys are doing podcasts, right? It takes time to be creative and think about it. It's not just you guys are shooting this shit. You have topics that you're thinking about, and then thinking about how you can stream that all together. It's the same thing. It's like I'm trying to come up with content, and that actually it can be draining. And
And
it's not
hard,
the
yeah.
video, but it's the thinking about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We were just having this conversation before this
Mm-hmm.
interview exactly about life and how when you're doing your creative outlet on top of regular life, how it does people, look at these 2-minute videos or they listen to our 45-minute to an hour podcast and they're just like, wow, that was just so easy and roll off. I mean, there's a lot of
I'm
legwork. There's a lot of
Yeah,
legwork. So good for you for just doing that and actually saying it and doing research to do your content, because it sounds like you're a step ahead of the game, especially on this end.
Okay, so I have a ton of questions. I have been so excited to do this. And you are the first TikToker that we've had on. And the reason why I wanted to have you on was because obviously there's a lot of other TikTokers you can go to and ask to come on. There's a specific reason why I wanted to have you on is because, number one, what stood out for me is when I did my first TikTok by myself, I can tell you right off the bat, I was like, no, thank you. What do you mean there's no script? Like, I imagined there was like words and then I could read them. No, this was like a full script. Like, I'm in LA and I'm trying out for a play. And I was like, well, homegirl, don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Like, I got to learn words and music and I got to sync it up. Like, it's a lot. Unless someone, I'm sure a lot of our viewers do know, but if you don't, try to make a TikTok. It is not as easy as it looks. But when I saw yours, I thought, number one, and I hope you don't mind me saying this, but obviously these young kids are out here TikToking, and I'm on the brink of 40. It was difficult for me to understand when you started doing it. Were you like, okay, I'm just going to try it and let's see what works? Or did it come fairly easy, like the editing and putting it together? Because your videos are amazing.
Pretty spot on, yeah.
They're pretty spot on. I mean, the dancing and which PS, love the moves.
Love the moves.
Thank you.
Love the moves. But how does that come together? Like, how long is it taking you, one, to shoot one video, and two, how did you even figure it all out? Did your kids help you, or did you just learn on your own?
Yeah, to answer the question about the kids, no one in my family really helps me unless I pay them. So if I need a camera person, I have to bribe them. But other than that, they don't want to have anything to do with it. It's bad enough that the kids in town follow me, and so their friends follow me and stuff. But so it's really all my thing. It takes a lot of time, one, to come up with the ideas, but two, if it's a dance, I got to learn the dance. If it's like one of the trends, and so if you've done that, it's a workout. It's a fucking workout. By the time I finally do it, and I get the right one, and I do first I practice, then I probably do 10 different, and by the time I do the right one, I'm sweating. I am sweating. It is a mess. Yeah.
I tried to learn the early one in early quarantine, the Megan Stallion, the watch it one. I was just, he wasn't bored.
That was your
out
first
of
one.
mind.
That was your first one out the gate.
Well, I mean, come on.
You should have started with one of these. Or
I know.
Well,
and you're watching these kids, and you're like, oh, I can do that, and then you're like, oh my god,
they've gotten harder. And, because
YouTube,
the
and then
ones
you go,
easy.
My husband and I'll have to share it with you. My husband and I did one and it was really fun. We actually ended up getting 200,000 views.
That's good.
I did the exact same thing that you did, but I didn't follow up because I got a little freaked out because I was like, oh, we already have a lot going on with the podcast. My husband is a very attractive man. We don't need him out on the internet. I already got I already got shit in the I already got shit in the kitchen. I'm worried about there. And then plus the amount of time, like you said, we were sweating. We had so much fun creating that. Yeah. But that was, I would say, roughly to make that TikTok was a day.
Wow. Okay.
But that was our first one.
I love Marco. Wow.
Oh no.
That was quality bonding time. That's what
it really was. I gotta say,
bonding time, right?
We had a freaking blast. We really did. So good on you for just taking that out and doing that. One of the things is I wanted to ask is, why do you do it? Besides your kids.
So it's a creative outlet, like you said. And we could go on about this, about my whole, theory on or philosophy around what people should do when they grow up and what they should do as an occupation and so forth. But
Marco, please tell us your philosophy.
Well, so the
Oh,
thing
Marco.
is that back then, when I was growing up, my father said, okay, you obviously have to go straight to college. You have to be a doctor, engineer, lawyer. And I failed him by becoming an accountant. So I became a CPA, then ended up in auditing and then IT compliance. Really boring shit.
Oh,
Okay. Extremely boring shit.
yeah.
I always had a creative side to me that I never tapped into because I never thought I should. It was never fostered.
Right, right.
And so I ended up, having a career in a space that didn't really thrill me. Right. And so this has allowed me to just open up and do things that I really enjoy. And so for me, it's been just a blast. It started off just a slight opening of the door, and now I'm just, trying to do everything I can, like a podcast, or I signed up for today. I signed up. My friend said he knows of a modeling agency that shoots for ordinary people. They want ordinary people in their shoots. I said, I'm ordinary.
Like,
I'm ordinary, honey.
Thank you.
I'm ordinary.
Yeah, what a compliment.
Give
I'm
me
in.
that ordinary sign up list, honey.
The name of the place is called Genuine Ordinary People. It's like, that's the agency. It's like fucking ordinary. That's me. I'm ordinary. So I can do this. So I'm trying to like do everything I possibly can. So I have time on my hands, which I'll get into in a little bit, but when I started looking at that, then I was like, there's these other places that need extras for movies. I live near New York City, so I can just pop it. So I'm going to start like applying to do extras and I don't know. It's just like shit that I've never done before, and I have the time and I want to do it. So
yeah, I think, I 1000% understand what you were saying, because it is true. I mean, I think every generation kind of up until this last one kind of feels that, where it's like, you go to school, you go to college, you get this career, and then maybe when you retire one day and your kids are gone,
you read the book you wanted to,
yeah, and your knees hurt, maybe you try out for a play in the local community theater. But really, I mean, my husband always is very supportive, but I mean, for a couple of years, I was just like, I really just want to do this podcast. Like, I love my job, I love what I do, but if I had the option to get paid and do this full time, this is what I would choose to do. But how do you take the leap? Where do you start? My husband was just like, I remember one night he was like, just fucking do it. What the fuck is your problem? Like, get out there and just get it done. You're smart, you're ambitious, you love this. And it's true. It's not until you get into it that you think, man, for people who really, and that we're big promoters of this on our podcast, and we've had several shows on it, where you don't need to wait until you're 95 and yet just want to try one thing, and then you're like scared to do it, and you finally do it right before you die. It's like the world now that we live in, you really can sustain and have a life and feed your family and do something that's not just a lawyer, that's not just a doctor, that's not just in this little box. So it's really cool. When I saw you doing this, I was like, that's why I wanted to interview you, because yeah, obviously you have all these little kids and try and make a name for themselves and maybe make a little career, make some money out of it. But there is something to be said about an adult who has lived their life, has a wife and kids, who's like, I'm going to give this a whirl. And your videos are amazing. I mean, they are, they are so great. Like, your wife must be loving it.
Oh no. they get embarrassed. They just roll their eyes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, but they know how I am. That's
right. Yeah.
So let's get into where this time on your hands is coming from.
Sure.
I'm so curious.
Sure. So, I worked. I was an accountant and a CPA for Ernst & Young, and then some other companies, and then I joined Pfizer. So when we're talking about vaccine and so I joined Pfizer 23 years ago, 24 years ago, 1997, and I was with Pfizer until about 3 months ago or so. Yeah. And I was let go because they're moving a lot of the kind of the corporate jobs. They're moving them to offshore locations if possible.
They are
nearshore locations. But I received a great package from them, a separation package, and I've done very well in terms of being frugal and investing and so forth. That but yeah, so the thing is now I have the financial flexibility to do this, right?
Right.
And not everyone has that, right? So I have the financial flexibility to, try out for the neighborhood theater and or do something like being an extra or something like that. So I have that. And it also gives me the flexibility to look for something I might really want to do. And that could
Right.
be in the corporate world. It could be outside of the corporate world. I don't know yet. So I'm in this kind of weird gap year of a sort at the age of 52. So
I love it.
that's
So do you plan on working more? Like you want to find another job and work a few more years in
eventually
whatever avenue?
I do, because what I realize is it can get boring if you aren't doing something.
If you're not a
And
TikToker.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
also my hobbies, and so it's been opening up, but my hobbies are jujitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu,
Yeah, we saw that.
yeah, playing soccer, and also just socializing with friends. So
Yeah.
all of those things during the pandemic you couldn't really do. So that made it a little bit worse. But now that things are opening up, I'm really enjoying life a lot more. But at the same time, I realize I'm going to need to do something a little bit more worthwhile.
Of course.
So I'm going to need to do something. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to go back to corporate. I'm trying to see, if there's something that really appeals to me.
Yeah.
But what I realized, and I did a TikTok on this, I read a book, and it talks in the book about high functioning sleepwalkers. And that's what I was for several years. It's like the past 3 years, especially, but more likely the past 10 years, which is where you go to work every day and you just kind of like convince yourself that, hey, I'm getting enough enjoyment out of what I'm doing, with these corny jokes that people are saying in the coffee room or something else, and just really looking forward to the weekend, and then looking forward to my 4 weeks of vacation, and thinking that that's a good life. And I really disliked my job. The past 3 years, I hated my job. So it was a great awakening for me. I was just stuck in this rut where I didn't realize I was sleepwalking,
Right.
and that's why I was a high functioning sleepwalker. So TikTok actually did help in a way, like awaken me. But then again, someone slapped me awake by firing me. So it was okay either way. I ultimately I ended up in a great place.
Well, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah. Because it is interesting when you do these like sleepwalking through, because you really don't make time in your brain for any of the creativeness at all, because you're like, gotta go back to work, gotta get those 40, 50 hours in. Oh, now I got the weekend. Oh, gotta make the most of the weekend because I gotta go back to work on Monday.
And then
And
you
you just
wonder why
don't-
you're drained.
Right.
You wonder
Yeah.
why by the Monday morning you already have anxiety. You have anxiety Sunday morning about Monday morning.
Oh, 1000%.
And you do the barbecue,
Yes.
but you don't drink too much. You keep it cool because you got to make sure the house is clean so you can start your routine.
Right.
Monday morning, you can't throw the routine off
Right.
because we're
Right.
all going to be in trouble because then it's a bad week. But it was already a bad week. You knew Friday when you left that you were like, fuck you. See you Monday.
See you Monday.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
When I leave every night, they're like, see you tomorrow. I'm like, maybe. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Today could be the day.
It can be,
Today
but I will
day.
tell you, the one thing that was like very obvious to me is pre-pandemic on Monday mornings, you're in traffic, and I would see these people losing their shit, just losing their shit. How are you losing your shit? You just had 3 days off. You should be just cruising, kind of waking up, drinking your coffee. But I think a lot of people do that. All of us have done it at one point or another. We're just kind of sleepwalking through. And I'm really glad that we are in. Obviously, there's a lot of good things and a lot of bad things happening right now. But one of the better things about this time that we live in right now is that people really are starting to think there is another way that I can have this creative outlet. There is some more things that I could be doing, not just these two things, my wife, my life, and this job that I'm fucking just can't, I'm counting the hours down. And so I just think it's so cool that, because I thought, man, I got to ask him. I'm sure his wife TikToks and I'm sure the kids TikTok. And then when you said, no, like it's just me and they don't really help me, I was shocked, because I was like, you really then had to want or keep doing this where it hit those creative juices.
Yeah. So the other thing is, and my family knows me very well, and I tell them this all the time. I tell them I'm gonna have fun no matter what. I'm gonna try to have fun no matter what. And if you aren't on board, just get out of my way. And so I do this when we go on vacation or when we do anything because I'm out to have a great time. And if they're in a mood, that's fine. Just get out of my way because I'm
Right.
not going to deal with your mood. So they know me very well. If I find something that I really enjoy like this, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. They roll their eyes. They, complain sometimes if somehow, they're in one of my TikToks by accident, and they get upset because then their friends see them and they're like embarrassed. So
You know what you need to do next time is walk up and sign their cereal box and go, "You're welcome." Hand it back to them. Just start signing your autograph on shit for no reason.
Oh, that's
let
some
your
content.
wife, yeah, let your wife open the fridge and just the milk has your signature on it, and just fucking hope your life is like. Just really get into it. Be like, you are.
I gotta find someone. I gotta find a kid, pay him. So when we're out and about, I gotta like time it so that I'll have them come up to me and ask for my autograph in front of my kids.
Amazing.
And if they can pull some tears out, even better. Throw in an extra 20. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Get those tears going. I think
this is why creatives like us, we get together because now we're in the think tank. Okay.
Yeah.
Your wife is outside listening. She's like, Jesus, we don't need any more of this.
Oh, she doesn't. She wouldn't care. So I have been stopped before on the street or something. And in town because for some reason I have a large following in my town. So I have been stopped before. She's used to it. She does a lot of Instagramming, right? So she does. But for her business, she's like in the spiritual health and healing type stuff, Reiki,
and all those
that kind of
chakras,
stuff.
right? Yeah.
Very big into the
chakras
and the phases of the moon.
That's right.
And like we have all these different statues and everything in our room.
Yeah, I was like, don't turn around now. There's a crystal behind you.
You're obviously
yes. I knew it.
Like seriously, I have like this is the desk that she usually sits at, and like we have all this like different stones.
Yes.
And I'm sure some of them are charging right now, so I should leave them be. Because,
I was like, we just came off of a full moon, Marco. You might want to put those down.
Yes. He just blasts out of the sea.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm like, where did Marco go? I will tell you one really quickly. So one of the TikToks you made was about you were doing the pancakes, and you did the one with bacon, and then I think you did one with blueberries, and then you did one with the egg, which I died. He was just like, because apparently now that's how you make pancakes. Dying laughing. So I started sharing that TikTok like through text. I was like, oh yeah, we're going to have this gentleman on the podcast. So slowly, without me realizing it, made it through my entire office. And our office has something like 60 plus employees. And when I tell you, people are coming up to me daily and they're like, will you please let Marco know that I tried that recipe with the bacon and the pancakes? Fire. I was like, yeah, I
didn't come up with it. I found that on TikTok.
Did you? And so people love it. People are dying for it. I was like, I like it. Bacon and pancakes. If you haven't tried to get into it.
I'm in the middle of the busy time of my career and I don't have the capability. So I give myself a designated TikTok time a week. And it's typically Fridays when my husband picks up the kids later across town from the childcare we have set up. And I run a bath. And I talked about, I think, last podcast or the podcast before. And when I say I sit in that bath until it's not lukewarm, I mean, it is freezing cold. It's not healthy. And I'm watching my TikTok and I love that time. Now I do that because we don't want these things to be a succubus to where you don't create, right? Because some people, I feel like the middle of this like weird social media world is we're just watching everybody else live their lives. So I'm glad that we're always doing work. We're on the grind with this podcast. You're on the grind with your TikToks, but you're also out there obviously taking this opportunity to really explore. So it's nice to actually talk to you. And one of the reasons why I was really interested in interviewing you is because you talk to these young kids and they're doing this creative stuff, but they're a little bit vapid. And I'm not trying to be rude, but like it does consume them on a level that I don't particularly look up to or down to, however you're supposed to look up through age groups, right? But with you, it's interesting because you can tell. I think you just thoroughly enjoy this, and then you're just like out there living your life. So it's awesome to see that somebody with your personality type has gone viral. You're doing this stuff. I think it's very inspirational personally.
Thank you.
So thank
Thank
you.
you. And I have like a lot of different groups that follow me for different reasons.
Sure.
And so and that's one of the reasons that it's kind of difficult to maintain a certain level of viewing of my videos because it's all over the place, right? I do fitness, I do my griddling, I do the dancing, I do the cosplay, I do comedy. So it's kind of all over the place. But what I found was that a lot of the older people, and through the pandemic, you've seen an increase in the number of users who are older, and they're really appreciating. I guess me putting myself out there, me doing some of the fitness stuff, and so some of them. What I love is when I put out a video and someone comments, "I was having a bad day, but then I saw this and it made it that much better." And I get those, once in a while, especially on my dancing ones, and I just love that because it means that I had an impact on someone, a positive impact on someone. So I have been enjoying this thoroughly, thoroughly, and I plan to keep doing it until I guess it's no longer fun anymore, but still fun.
Please, Marco, keep doing them. Please keep doing the dancing ones. When I tell you, it makes me
all of it. I'm
so
here for all of
I
it.
love all of it, but when you get to shaking that stinky leg, when I tell you I am having the time of my life, like, especially when I'm jealous, like I've learned to not watch your videos when I'm at work because when you have a cocktail and you're like dancing it out, I am instantly upset and very jealous. So I'm like, I gotta be in the zone too. I need a cocktail. I need to be vibing with him on a TikTok.
In my kitchen.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. So the vibing. So this is something that I've realized that is those are the ones that go viral when there's a vibe, right?
Yes.
And even it's so difficult to figure out how that works because some videos I think, wow, this is going to be a viral video. I think I got the vibe down, and fucking fails. And then other ones where I'm just like, hey, I'm just going to put something out there and say, and then there's a vibe. Right.
Yeah.
And you can read it in the comments. Like, you can, the word vibe actually comes up multiple times. And I still haven't figured out how to do that. But sometimes like the one with the cocktail, I did a recent one. It was the music. And then I think just the dancing. It was Duran Jones and in the kitchen. Man, I discovered him through TikTok. I didn't know about this.
Really?
Now he's like, oh, I love him now. It's like old school cruising music. It's so good. Yes. And I learned so much through TikTok. It's like amazing.
Well, think about it, but like we really do connect. And the exciting thing about social media and phones, these things that we are tethered to, is that it does connect us. And obviously, sometimes that connection, depending on your mental state or your vibe, can put you on this path or it can put you on this path. And I feel like as long as you just keep that positive stuff coming and like, look how excited you are. You found some great music, you found some great recipes, found some saucy dance moves. Like that is the vibe in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's what things should be doing. So,
I think it is. It's just if you're trying to construe it, if you're trying to build it, you can't necessarily build it. It's very, very difficult. It just happens on its own. Like if you're watching, I like when I go through and I see a video, I'm like, geez, man, I'm just feeling that. I'm feeling that. And they probably had no idea what they were doing, but you just feel it.
Yeah, I am so glad that you agreed to come on the show. Please, anytime that you would like to come on, you just hit me with a quick text and just let me know. Because truly, and anything that you're doing in the future stuff, just let us know. Truly, I'm so glad that you agreed to do this. Our listeners absolutely love you. Your vibe is our vibe is their vibe, honey. So we are so glad that you decided to come on. We really appreciate it. Please, I know you're going to go back to work eventually. Please just give us a TikTok. Okay, if you get really busy, just give us like a once every couple of week TikTok. Throw us a little.
I was doing a lot of them while I was employed, so I'll still continue doing them even if I start something new.
I love it. Thank you so much, Marco.
Thank you for inviting me, guys. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great to
Absolutely.
chat
Have a
with
good
you.
rest of your week. Have a great vacation and have a good 4th of July. Wear those shorts, honey.
Will
Get
do.
those chakras. Get those
Thank you.
chakras.
The chakras got them.
That's
got them all
right.
lined up.
That's
All right,
right. Thanks,
Marco.
Marco.
Bye.
Have a
Okay,
good
thank
night.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.